Take a deep breath. Let your shoulders soften. Let your eyes grow heavy. You're safe now, held by the quiet, cradled in calm. There's nothing to do. But listen, nothing to carry. But breath. Let it drift in, cool and slow. And out again, like a breeze through stone. And now, our story begins. Our story sets sail at the edge of a cliff where land meets sky and sky meets sea and sea meets silence. Here, high above the crashing waves, stands a castle, forgotten by time but remembered by the wind. Its towers are silvered with age, its stones bear moss in their creases, and its walls. They hum, not loudly, not often, only when the wind is just right. Only when night falls, gentle and true, only when sleep leans near. They call it Branwythe Castle, the castle with the hollow wall. No one lives there now. Not truly, but the castle is never empty, for the walls remember. They remember feet that danced across cold flagstones, and candles that flickered behind iron-grilled windows, and voices the voices that once whispered secrets through the stone itself. Because hidden in the west wall of Branwythe Castle is a passage, a hollow, an old trick of stonework used by medieval masons to carry sound. A whisper at one end, heard clearly at the other. A whispering wall. Some say it was made for spies. Others say for lovers. But the wind has its own ideas. It found the hollow long ago. Ever since when the moon is high and the world is quiet, the wall sings. Tonight the sea is calm, the sky a pool of starlight, and the castle waits. Inside its hollow heart, dust floats like sleepy feathers. Wood beams creak gently, as though remembering music. And beneath the tallest tower, in a chamber with a round window and no door, the wall breathes. Not like lungs, like memory. Soft still, steady. Now come closer, dear listener. Step softly through the gates. Feel the cool stone beneath your feet. The hush of the wind at your back. You are safe here. You are not trespassing. You're returning. The castle remembers you. Perhaps you once wandered these halls in another dream. Perhaps your voice once slipped into the hollow wall and found its way into someone's sleeping ear. Tonight, the wind will carry stories again. And you are the listener. Let us walk slowly. Past the broken sundial, its face worn smooth by centuries of starlight. Past the old herb garden, where lavender still grows, though no one tends it. Each step is gentle. Each stone is patient. You are not hurried. Time here does not tick. It sighs. Now you enter the western hall. The air cools. Stone arches curve like cupped hands. There see that long stretch of wall. Smooth, quiet, ancient. Place your hand upon it. Feel the faint warmth left by breath long gone. And now, listen. Not with your ears. With your skin. With your chest. With your stillness. The wind is coming. It slips in through a crack high above. Finds the hollow. Stirs the silence. And begins to hum. Just one note. Low. Tender. True. Then another. Slightly higher. Like a second voice joining the first. Then a rhythm. Not music exactly, but like a cradle being gently rocked. And it rise and fall. You are the one being rocked. By the sound, by the hush, by the story that is only just beginning. Let your breath match the hum. Let with the song of the wall. Let your eyes drift heavier. Let your thoughts slow. There is more to come. The wind has much to say, and the castle is ready to remember. The hum continues. Soft, slow, a lullaby carried on breath and breeze. And if you listen closely, beneath the hum is something else, a whisper, not words, not yet, but a tone familiar, something once heard in the cradle of a dream. The castle, old as it is, does not speak quickly. Its stories come gently, threaded through centuries of silence. Tonight, it chooses to speak of Ulrich. Ulrich was not a knight, nor a noble. He was a stonekeeper, a listener of walls. He lived within Branwythe's tower, keeping fire in the hearth, repairing the mortar, and walking the corridors with quiet, thoughtful steps. He was the first to notice that the west wall spoke. It began with a cough. Not his own, but one he heard from far across the hall. Yet no one stood there. Waited, then heard it again. But not from beyond the wall, from within it. He pressed his ear to the cold stone. And there, clear and strange, was the sound of a boy humming. Not frightening, just surprising. As if the wall had remembered a moment and played it back for him. That night, Ulrich sat beside the wall with a candle and a bowl of broth and whispered into it, "I heard you." The candle flickered. The wind paused. And then a reply. Not in words and breath. His own breath echoed back to him, slower, sleepier, almost as if the wall was sighing for him. Over weeks, Ulrich spoke more. Not much. Just a word before bed. A thought before dawn. Today the baker's son brought me pears. The moon looks tired tonight. My boots have worn thin. Then the wall answered with faint replies. Sometimes a hush. Yes. Sometimes the rustle of wind through unseen leaves. And always, at the end of each exchange, the same warm hum. Comforted him in a way sleep never quite had before. Some nights he would bring his blanket and sleep by the wall. It never spoke to him then, only hummed, as if watching over his dreams and keeping the door to rest slightly ajar. He called it the hollow lullaby. Word spread, as it always does in such places. Knights came and pressed ears to the stone, hoping to hear prophecy. Monks brought parchment, thinking the wall would dictate. But it never spoke for noise, only for stillness. It would not sing for the curious, only for the calm. It sang best for Ulrich because he did not ask it to. He simply listened. And you, dear listener, you are listening now, just as he did. Perhaps the wall hums for you too. Let it vibrate softly in your chest. Let it smooth the space behind your eyes. Let it loosen your thoughts. Like threads undone from an old cloak. You do not need to think. Only breathe. You do not need to speak. Only be. Let the hum rise in your body. Let it become your lullaby. The wind knows your name, but will not call it. It only wishes to cradle it. Outside the tower, the sea crashes, but inside, nothing is loud. Even the wind moves slowly, like an old cat finding its spot to curl. You're curled too now. Inside this voice, inside this hush, inside the hollow of the wall, let yourself listen, even if you hear nothing. Especially then, for sleep begins in silence. And you are already there. There is a room tucked behind the spiral staircase of Branwythe Castle that the maps do not show. A narrow door, half covered in ivy, opens into a small chamber of stone and shadow. It has no torches, no tapestries, no window. And yet, at night it glows. Not brightly, softly, like moonlight behind closed eyes. They call it the Chamber of Murmured Stars. Because when the wind reaches the hollow wall just so, the sound drifts here and becomes something new. Not music, not voices, just a low pattern. Like stars whispering to one another across vast spaces of sky. No one knows who built this room. Some believe it was carved not for sleep, but for healing. For those too tired to dream, for those who needed silence that spoke. It is a room that listens, to heartbeat, to breath, to memory, and it gives back. Only softness. Long ago, Ulrich found it by accident. A draft had stirred his candle as he passed the ivy door, and curiosity led him in. At first, he thought the room empty, still forgotten, but then the hum began. It came from the very stone. It's not loud, not even steady, just there. Like someone far away whispering something not meant for words. He sat, and the sound filled him in a way that felt like sleep. Without ever closing his eyes, Ulrich began visiting the room often. He brought nothing with him, not even his thoughts. He left them at the door like wet boots, unneeded. Inside he simply breathed, listened, and let the stars, stone-born, wind-spoken, cradle him in sound. Others followed, tired maid, numb from scrubbing floors. A boy who stuttered but whose breath matched the hum. A knight with war behind his eyes, and too many echoes in his mind. They came one by one, never speaking, always softer after. The castle had no chapel, but the chamber became a kind of prayer. Even now, the room remembers, though the candles are long gone, and the dust lies deep upon the floor. It glows gently in the wind's rhythm. It welcomes no crowds, only those who need it. Only those who arrive not with questions, but with quiet. And tonight, its stone hums again, because you are near. So sit with us, dear listener, sit in the hush. Let the stone speak softly. Let your thoughts dissolve like fog. Your spine soften against the pull of gravity. Let your hands unclench. Let your mind stop gripping. You do not have to hold the world. Just breathe. Out. In, like starlight rising. Out, like sleep blooming, again and again, till you are not separate from the chamber, but part of it, till your breath is part of the hum, and your hum is part of the stars. If your eyes begin to drift, that is good. The room expects nothing else. It does not need you to listen, only to rest. It does not need you to understand, only to soften. You are not alone here. You never were. The wind keeps you. The wall remembers you. Stars murmur, not above you, but around you. And you are safe. There is a corridor within Branwythe Castle that no longer appears on any parchment map, but it still remembers the weight of footsteps. It stretches behind the North Tower, a hallway once used by stewards, scribes, and those who preferred to walk unseen. But over the years, doors were sealed, stairs worn down, the corridor faded into quiet. Yet it never closed. Not truly, simply. It waits to be walked again, waits to hold the echo of feet gentle and slow, because this corridor was built differently. Its stonework was layered with a secret design. Thin air channels inside the walls, crafted to carry sound as clearly as if spoken face to face. A medieval marvel. An acoustic passage where every sigh could travel and every word became a gift for someone waiting on the other side. Tonight the wind finds that corridor, just enough to stir the dust, to awaken the hush. And if you listen, if you lean your thoughts against the air, you can almost hear it. The faintest echo of a footstep not yet taken, of a voice not yet heard. Perhaps it's yours. Come with me quietly. We do not rush in this place. We glide, like shadows holding hands. Beneath our feet, the stones are cool, damp with memory. Above us, the arching ceiling cradles the air, letting sound gather gently without ever needing to echo too loud. Everything here was built not to impress, but to feel. As we walk, notice how your breath changes. Each inhale pulls a thread of air from deep within the corridor's lungs. Each exhale weaves it back into stillness. It's a rhythm, yours, and the corridor's. Together long ago it was said that lovers would whisper poems into one end of the passage, and their voices would find the other as if carried on a string of silk. Others said a steward could call for help without ever raising his voice, and the sound would carry through stone as easily as through air. But tonight, there are no lovers here, no stewards, only you. And your presence is enough. Perhaps you'd like to speak, you may. No one will answer in words, but the corridor listens. The walls respond in breath and tone. Say nothing, or say anything. It doesn't matter. The sound will travel gently, faithfully, softly to the far end, where someone may be listening in another dream. Now, pause. Let's not reach the end just yet. Let us stand here in the middle of the hush, where echoes are closest. Where sound turns in slow spirals before fading into memory. Close your eyes. The stone holds you. The air holds you. The corridor holds you. You are not moving. Something in you is being carried. Not away, but deeper. Let your breath become quieter. Let it fall beneath words. Let it settle into rhythm with the silence. You are walking a path many once walked, though no footprints remain. You are part of its story now, even in stillness, especially in stillness. And when you take the next step, it will not be forward but inward. Further into rest, further into calm, further into the hum of a castle that never truly sleeps, because it knows that some dreams need space to wander. And this corridor is their road. Beneath the castle, deeper than cellars, deeper than vaults, there is a chamber so still, even echoes pause before entering. They call it the room beneath the echo, not because it lies below sound, but because it listens longer than sound lasts. It said the chamber was built a place made not of secrets, but of the breath between them, by a mason who never spoke, but who heard melodies in mortar, songs in the silence between hammer strikes. She carved the room with rounded edges, not for style, but for sleep. She believed corners made thoughts feel trapped, and so here, light reaches this place, everything is curved. The floor bows gently in the center, the walls bend like open arms. Even the ceiling cups upward, as if holding something invisible but precious. Perhaps a sigh, perhaps a prayer. Same hum that, travels through the hollow wall, perhaps a dream not yet dreamt. No is the kind of dark, except what visitors bring. And yet it is never dark in a frightening way. It that holds you like a lullaby, grounded, soft, wrap-around quiet, dusk that lives behind closed eyelids. Tonight, the wind does not reach this far, but something else does. Footfall seems to disappear the hum, and now drifts downward, not as sound, but as feeling. It's a low warmth, like a woolen blanket pulled up to the chin. A heaviness that isn't heavy, just safe. You step softly into the room, not needing shoes, not needing words. Each into the smoothness of the stone. And when you sit in the hollow of the floor, back resting lightly against the cool wall, you realize something. The silence is alive, not buzzing, not loud, just present. Like the moment before snowfall, like the hush of a held breath. You're not being watched. You're being held by sound, quiet, by stone that has remembered how to listen. Some say this room was used its thoughts go by monks who took vows of silence, but needed a place where the body could rest as deeply as the tongue. Others believe it's where the castle itself sleeps, where when no one is left to wander the halls, whatever the truth, it does not ask anything of you. It's only this, that you let go. So let's do that now. Together, let go of your to-do lists. Let go of names. Let go of shapes. Let your breath fall gently, like sand through slow fingers. Let your spine loosen, brought gently back. Let your jaw unclench. The quietest version there is no need to hold anything here. Even your thoughts may rest. If even your dreams may curl up beside you, like kittens in the quiet. The hum deepens now, not louder. A room just closer. You do not hear it in your ears. Who you are, you feel it behind your ribs. At the base of your neck, in the small space between inhale and exhale, you are being tuned, not changed. Just listens longer to stillness. Two when nothing is asked of you. Two of yourself. You may stay here as long as you like. There is no clock, no bell, no door. Only that then echoes last. And when you are ready, if you are ready, the silence hold you, you may rise slowly, step back into the castle's hush, carrying the room's stillness within you like a soft ember. But for now, stay, sleep. Let like stone warmed by moonlight. Up above the room beneath the echo, up winding stairs worn smooth by centuries of soft steps, there lies a place few ever noticed, because it never called attention to itself. It's not a chamber, not a hall, just a threshold, small stone alcove. It's a narrow ledge near the eastern face of the castle, hidden between two old arrow slits. Wind rarely visits. Birds do not perch here. Even ivy leaves it be. But when dawn is near, just before the sky colors, before the world begins its waking, a faint warmth gathers here, as if time itself sits and rests for a while. And if you stand in that space, the light finds you first. Ulrich used to come here. After long nights by the hollow wall, he would carry no lantern, no words, just his breath, and he would wait. Not for the sun, but for the soft gray hush that comes before it. The hush that feels like a blanket drawn up to the chin, a warm hand held against the back of your neck. A breath shared between dream and waking. He said it felt like the castle was exhaling, like Branwythe. With all its old memory and whispering stone, was letting go of whatever it had carried through the night. And in that soft release, he too could release. The worry, the weight, the noise of thinking. It was never loud there, not even when the world stirred beyond the cliffs. The sound of morning here was quieter than silence. It was permission. Tonight you've climbed the same steps, slowly, softly. The castle feels still, more like resting with one eye half open. And now you've arrived.
At the ledge.
The threshold. The place where the morning waits. Lean against the stone. It's cool, but not cold. smooth but not polished, alive in a way. Below, the sea murmurs. Far off, birds turn in their sleep, and above, a single star still holds on, glowing like the last ember of a dream, and in your chest. Something quiet begins to bloom. Not excitement, not urgency. Peace. Let it rise with your breath. Not high, not fast, just soft, just steady. Let it fill the spaces you forgot needed filling. Let it reach places too quiet to ask for light. And know this, you are not becoming rested. You are rest. You are not seeking stillness. You are the hush. This moment does not ask you to prepare for the day. It only asks you to dwell in what comes before it. That sacred pause, that final note of night, that cradle where morning curls before waking, you are allowed to linger here. Even when the sun rises, even when time begins again, 'cause part of you now lives in the hush, and hush is never in a hurry. So for now, lean back, feel the hum of the wall behind you, faint but faithful, like the castle saying, you are remembered, you are safe, you may rest as long as you wish. And as the light begins to turn faintly blue, and the stone warms against your shoulders, close your eyes. Not to sleep again, but to hold this stillness a little longer. You are not waiting for the day. You are the morning itself, resting on a castle ledge high above the sea. There's a room tucked beneath a sloping stairwell in Branwythe Castle, where the scent of old parchment still lingers, even though no fire has warmed it in 100 winters. They call it the library without lamps, because no candle burns there. No lantern flickers, and yet it is never dark. The light you see comes from the pages themselves, not glowing, not shimmering, but remembering. In the deep hush of midnight, when no voices echo, the books begin to breathe. They do not speak aloud.
Ow!
They do not open themselves like mouths. They simply remember being read. And the air carries those soft memories as if they were smoked from an invisible hearth. You can feel it now as you step through the crooked wooden door. Cool air, dry and gentle. The perfume of oak shelves, linen thread. Ink long faded into silence. The books don't ask to be touched. They don't reach for you. But they welcome you, just by waiting, just by being. You are not their master. You are their guest. Ulrich often visited this room when his thoughts were too loud. He'd sit on the third stair of the spiral step, just out of view from the room's heart, and listen. Not for voices, but for the feeling. That stories were moving without him. He said it was like sitting beside a stream, where every current carried a forgotten tale, and all he had to do was breathe near it. Some say the books speak to each other, soft little turns of page in the dark, bindings creaking in low conversation, margins humming lullabies only other margins can understand, and if you sit quietly long enough, your own heartbeat begins to sync with theirs. A reader's rhythm, steady, still, not to absorb, but to belong. Tonight, you've found that stair, that soft alcove of wood and dust. You don't need to open a book. The stories are already in the air. Inhale slowly. You might catch the scent of a story about a knight who sang to wolves, or a baker who could bake dreams into her bread, or perhaps the first whisper that ever traveled through the hollow wall. They're not in chapters. They're in traces. And you don't need to follow them. They'll come to you, one by one, like leaves falling into your palm. Stories hold you now. Let your spine relax. Let your knees soften. All hum. Let your a story being written breathing become the quietest thing you hear. Quiet, let the books think you're asleep. That's when they remember best. And you don't need to read. You don't even need to dream. You're in a place where, without ever being told, right? And the walls, the shelves, the bindings, they in tune with your rest. In this room, you are not a reader. You in silence, and the ink is calm, and the pages sleep. Sleep, and the only pen is breath. So, sink deeper. Let become your pillow. The books are watching over you. They've done it for hundreds of years, and they're not done yet. Below the great hall of Branwythe Castle, past a door with a handle worn smooth by time, rests a kitchen that hasn't served a feast in centuries, and yet still smells of flour, smoke, and rosemary. They call it the hearth beneath the ash, because though the fires are long cold, the warmth remains not in temperature, but in memory. Here, in this sleepy nook, no pots clang, No knives flash. No commands echo through vaulted ceilings. It's just a hush, thick and soft as rising dough. The stone floor still holds the warmth of hands that once kneaded beside it. The air hums faintly with the ghosts of cinnamon and steam. No need for a cook. The kitchen remembers how to be full. Ulrich used to come here after long days in silence, not to eat, but to sit. He'd perch beside the hearth, his back against the ash-dusted stones, and listen to the quietest crackles deep within the chimney. You might think it was imagination, but the walls know better. They know that even fire leaves behind a kind of echo, a low ember hum that lives just beneath the ash, like a lullaby that once had flame. Tonight, you found your way here too. The door opens gently, without creak. The air welcomes you, scented not with smoke, but with memory. You breathe it in, and something inside you sighs, not out of sadness, out of soft recognition. This place has waited for you. Come sit beside the hearth. No need to sweep the floor. The ash is friendly, a fine gray powder that glows faintly in thought. Curl up against the stone. Let your cheek rest against old brick. Let your hands grow still. Now listen. Can you hear it? That whisper-low crackle? A distant murmur that isn't quite wind? It's the sound of warmth without fire, of rest without reason, of comfort that doesn't ask why. Let it enter you now, not like heat, like calm. Let it settle in your belly, like a soft bread rising. Let it soothe your chest, like a cloak just pulled from the hearth. Let it remind the hands you carry your bones that they were built for stillness too, that do not need to work tonight, they may rest. And in resting, remember joy made quiet. They may return to themselves. The walls remember stories told while stirring stews. Remember humming songs without lyrics. That you hums the fireless song, be still long enough need to do by repetition. You don't have to relive them. They're already woven into the bricks. All is for the hush to notice you. And it has. It already has. Now close your eyes, we'll carry with it and let the hearth breathe. It breathes for you. It holds for you. It says, you may be still. You may sleep. You are safe. The ash will not mark you, it will keep you. It's like memory. And when the wind sings again through the hollow wall, this warmth. Because warmth never really leaves. Near the southern wing of Branwythe Castle, past a faded tapestry of a lion asleep beneath a tree, there lies a stair, narrow, coiled, and endlessly still. They call it the stair that doesn't end, because no matter how far you climb, you never feel lost, only lighter. It's not built for speed. The steps are shallow, worn at the edges by centuries of soft footfalls. Some say the stair once led to the bell tower. Others say it led nowhere at all, only upward in slow spirals of thought. But what all agree on is this: the stair breathes, not like lungs, not like bellows, but like something ancient that still remembers the rhythm of careful footsteps, slow climbs, and the hush that follows a long exhale. Ulrich once asked the castle mason why the stair felt this way. The mason had only smiled and said, because it was made with pause. Each step was placed not with haste, but with intention. A moment for the body, a moment for the mind, so that with every rise you drop something behind, a thought, a worry, a name you no longer needed. And by the time you reach the top, you'd be lighter than when you began. Tonight, you place a foot upon the first step. It welcomes you. Without a word, without a creak, the stone has waited, not for someone to conquer it, but for someone to move slowly enough to feel it. You begin your ascent. One step, and then another. Each rise is a breath. Each turn a quiet turning inward. There's no rush. There's no height to reach. This stair does not reward the fast. It rewards the still. With each soft footfall, you feel yourself loosen. Like a shawl sliding from your shoulders. Like petals falling in a pond. Thoughts drift away without argument. No struggle. No resistance. They simply forget to stay. You pass old arrow slits. Slim windows carved into the stone, each letting in a sliver of moonlight. The light paints thin lines on the wall like a calendar without days. No time lives here. Only movement. Only air. Only you. Ulrich once said the stair was his favorite place to think, because it never asked for thoughts in return. He could walk it not to reach anywhere, but to remember how it feels to rise without needing to arrive. Now, You pause on the 27th step. The air feels different here. Thinner, yes, but also clearer, like the silence is purer, like your breath is no longer yours alone, but shared with the stones. They've taken some of your wariness and left behind a little stillness, like a trade. Kind. Even you may continue, or you may sit. The stair won't mind. It has always existed for both purposes. To climb and to rest, to go on or to let go. Only rhythm, only rhythm. And tonight your rhythm is perfect. Let your body soften, just for a moment, into the gentle turn of the spiral. Let your thoughts rest on a step of their own. Let your breath settle between the stones, because sometimes you don't need to finish the climb. Sometimes you only need to feel the quiet joy of rising slowly with nothing to chase. The castle hums faintly below. The wind stirs the hollow wall somewhere far off. And here in this narrow curve of stone, you feel neither far nor close. You simply are. And in this being, sleep begins to gather once more. Softly as dust on the stair that doesn't end. In the oldest part of Branwythe Castle, a tower now missing its roof and its stones, kissed by lichen and gentle moss, there rests a bell. Not swinging, not clanging, just still. They call it the bell that only echoes once, because in all its years, it's only ever needed to ring a single time. And yet that one sound never really stopped. The bell is bronze, cast by a widow whose voice was too soft to shout across fields, but whose grief rang louder than thunder in her chest. They say she poured tears into the mold as she shaped it, and for that reason, the bell could only ring once, because it rang with everything it had. No clapper swings within it now, no rope trails down. A low, rounded note that sits deep in the belly, like the last chord of a lullaby sung by someone who's already fallen asleep. Ulrich loved this tower. Though few ever climbed its spiraled ruin, he did so often. Not to hear the bell, but to feel it. He said that when he placed his hand against the cold bronze, his heartbeat would match it, slower, softer, steadier. You've climbed to the bell yourself. The wind is calm. The stars are quiet. The bell rests in its cradle, waiting not to ring, but to be near. You do not need to touch it. It already senses you, and in your presence, its single echo rises again. It's not a sound, but a stillness, a reverberation that melts every thought, every edge, every name you've been carrying. Close your eyes here. There's no need to look. The view is inside, in the hush. In the hum, let the bell's echo touch you not on your skin, but in your breath. Let it become the air around you. Let it become the weightlessness within you. What was once loud in your mind is now drifting. What once held sharp corners is now rounding off into soft loops of feeling. You are not just near the bell. You are the bell. Only a feeling that you have arrived exactly where you're meant to be. The hollow wall hums far below, but the bell, it hums within you. On the west wing of Branwythe Castle, where the wind tends to drift in with salt from the sea, there's a long, narrow chamber with arched windows and a ceiling made not of stone, but of carefully laid slate and ancient glass. They call it the rain room, because when the sky opens, it sings here, not with thunder, not with storm, but with rhythm. The gentle tap of water against the worn glass panes. It's the soft patter on old slate, the run of droplets along ivy-veined gutters. A music made for no ears, yet perfect for the quiet heart. The rain room has no chairs, just long stone benches along the sides. And on the floor, a faded mosaic depicting a sleeping fox beneath falling leaves. Time has worn away most colors, but even now, the fox seems at peace, curled, calm, listening. Ulrich often sat here on gray mornings, or when his thoughts were heavy with too much light. He said the rain helped loosen the knots in his chest, not by answering questions, but by washing away the need to ask them. Each drop a reminder. You do not need to understand everything. You only need to rest within it. You choose a bench. Let your spine soften, your hands uncurl, Your eyelids lower. Don't try to listen. Let the sound reach you in its own time. It matches the beat of sleep more perfectly than any clock. No tick, just tap. No tick. But maybe you don't need to remember. Maybe it's enough to rest inside the sound that asks nothing. The castle hums beneath the water, the hollow wall listens still, but here in the rain room, you are not part of the architecture. You are part of the weather, fleeting, gentle, free, and as the last drops trail down the old glass, and the fox remains sleeping beneath its fading leaves, you two slip further into your own warm stillness. No thunder, no flash, just the quietest kind of sleep. Tucked beneath a roof that has known centuries of rain and still sings every time it falls. Just hush, and the longer you stay, the slower everything becomes, until even your thoughts start falling like droplets and dissolving into the floor. The castle knows how to deliver stillness without asking for attention. Inhale, as a drop trails down the glass like a lazy river. Exhale, as the slate sighs beneath the fall. Inhale, as the fox curls deeper into the mosaic. Exhale, as your shoulders forget to hold tension. Let go. Of names, of moments, of shape. You are the rain now, falling but never lost. There's a rhythm in every room here but this one. They say those who sleep in the rain room wake up remembering old lullabies they never learned, or languages only the sky speaks. There is a place in the castle, a secret nook, behind a false wall in the eastern corridor, just before the place where the wall begins to hum. It is known simply as the listening alcove, because here, words are never spoken out loud, but they are always heard. The alcove is no bigger than a cupboard, barely wide enough to sit and just tall enough to kneel. There are no cushions, no books, no candles, only smooth stone and a single carved swirl at head height, a small spiral in the wall that listens. It's said that the original stonemason designed this space to carry confessions through the hollow wall to the other side of the castle. Not to be judged, not to be recorded, only to be received. Because sometimes you don't want an answer. You just want your voice to exist somewhere outside of you. Ulrich found the alcove by accident one day. He was leaning against the panel while brushing dust from a nearby torch bracket, and the wall gave slightly, opening to reveal a curve of silence so pure he couldn't help but step inside. You do not need answers here. This is not a place for advice. It is a place where being heard is enough. The alcove has heard heartbreak and joy, doubt and forgiveness. Now it hears you. Soft, still open. And now, without your noticing, your shoulders drop. Your throat loosens. Your pulse slows. The bell's echo fades in the distance. And here, in this hushed spiral of old stone, you are safe, unburdened, and deeply, deeply heard. Because something in you knows you no longer have to hold it all. The wall holds it with you. And in return it offers quiet. Some say that if you whisper a wish here, the wall remembers it until the next breeze carries it across the stone. Others believe the spiral itself is an ear carved by time. But most simply agree. You leave lighter than you came. And tonight you do. So let your final thought drift into the spiral. But let it join the 1,000 others sleeping somewhere in the marrow of the stone. And then sit still. Just for a moment.
Oh.
Just long enough to feel what's missing, because you finally let it go. Outside, the castle hums softly. The rain has quieted. At the farthest edge of Branwythe Castle, where the stone begins to surrender to moss, and the hallways end not in doors, but in silence, there's one last chamber. They call it the room that sleeps back, because when you rest in it, it rests with you. There are no windows, no torches. It would disappear into the far corridor and return hours later, more silent than before, but somehow fuller, not with thoughts, not with stories, but with peace that had weight, like a thick woolen blanket draped gently over the soul. Only a dim amber glow from a bowl of ever-cool embers, and the steady warmth of stone that remembers what it is to cradle, not just as a guest, but as someone it has been waiting for. Not heat, not light, but comfort. Stillness that lives not around you, but with you. This room doesn't echo, it doesn't speak. But it listens in a way deeper than words. It listens not just to your breath, but to the space between your breaths, the little pauses, the sighs you don't know you're releasing. And with each one, the room settles a little deeper beside you. Ulrich never spoke of this place. He believed it was not meant to be shared except through feeling. And tonight, you arrive. In the moment your foot crosses the threshold, you feel it. The soft pull of a room that recognizes you. This is the room that sleeps. It's not just as a guest, but as someone it has been waiting for. The air here doesn't move, and yet you never feel confined. It is a stillness so wide, so gentle, that it stretches beyond walls. Quiet that folds over you like wings. You lie down, no bed, just a shallow stone shelf, curved like a cradle. A blanket left centuries ago still rests at its foot, worn thin but clean. It smells faintly of lavender and wood smoke and thyme. Let your head meet the stone. It is cool, then warm, and no longer anything at all. Because now you're not lying on stone, you're lying in sleep, and the sleep is lying with you. The castle's hum fades to the softest trace. The hollow wall sighs its final breath for the night, and the room leans gently inward, as if tucking you in. Inhale. Let the hush fill your ribs. Exhale. Let it carry away, the last thought still spinning. Inhale. Let go of the story. Exhale. Let go of the need for one. There are no more riddles to solve, no more echoes to chase, no more passages to follow. You've wandered, you've listened, you've rested,